Nice.
Yeah, but let's look at the first stereotype. Brazilians like to party. So, from my understanding, is that there is a party culture, but it's not like all the time. I think I mainly know this stereotype as Brazil has a lot of beautiful festivals with a lot of colors and dancing and people celebrating. So, I think that's where my idea of the stereotype might come from. But what is the reality in Brazil?
I think this is a stereotype because there is a large parts or large public and street festivals in Brazil, like Carnival and others. Uh, I, I really don't. In my idea, every people like to party. I don't know any nationality that there are people here that don't like to party. They are so bad. They just stay at home. In my idea, every country there is some hectare range of people. Usually the young ones that they like it too much to party. I think Brazil, in general way, we are more sympathetic and you like to talk, you like to confraternize it with another people. So because of this, we have this stereotype that we are just too much have people. But of course, in Brazil, there are people that don't like too much party.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't like. I like to go to place to speak with friends and go out with friends, but not exactly a party or a nightclub and these things. I don't remember when was the last time that I go to a really party, just a nightclub with music and these things.
That's so interesting. Actually, that actually taught me quite a lot because my expectation was that Brazilian people would like to celebrate and really go out with their friends and maybe even party a bit more than I was expecting. So I definitely learned a lot. That's
Mhm.
very interesting. So thank you for your inputs. May I add on to some of your points that you were saying, just on your English aspect? So
Well,
the
of
way
course,
that you said
please.
the way that you said something. So you said in my idea. So usually we wouldn't really phrase um this kind of way where we're giving an input, especially if it has to do with our opinion. So you could say, "Oh, in my opinion,"
Okay.
and then you could follow up with the rest of your sentence. Just because in my idea, you're usually talking about something you've come up with, whereas opinion, you're talking
It's
about something.
like my idea is like a conception.
Yes. Yes, so you might have, like, an idea of something you wanna create or a job that you would like to like, a company you would like to start, like, "I have this idea of this company I would like to
Ah, I
start."
understand now.
Whereas
It's about a
yeah,
specific
that's great.
point that I have.
Sorry, say that again?
It's about a specific points that I had, and in my opinion, and I use when I want to speak about something that we are target on.
Yes. So if you have, for example, with a stereotype, there'll be different opinions because it's subjective. A stereotype means like a general idea of what the characteristics of something or someone holds. So, for example, like the stereotype of Brazilians like to party, it's something that a lot of people believe. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
that's an opinion. That's something that people believe. So, when it comes to something like this, which is subjective, you would usually give an opinion, not an idea, if that makes sense.
Thanks. I understand.
Awesome, that's wonderful. I'm glad. Let's maybe move on to the next one. So, Brazil has beautiful beaches. This, let me actually type in the chat. I got this from my previous student. Um, this is in Portuguese, which is something I learned. And we were talking about beautiful beaches because I really want to go to Brazil one day, but I don't want to travel to a main city because I'm not a city person. I really enjoy nature. So
Yeah.
he was giving me an example of a beautiful beach that I would
Let me
love
see.
to
I
visit.
like it. I like a lot beautiful bit. So then I could give my opinion about that. But
I don't know if that's
it's like
self.
Porto de Galinhas. I don't know Porto de Galinhas. I didn't visit there because Brazil is too large place, and there's
Big,
a lot
yeah.
of beach. And exactly this picture of this beach that are in your presentation is in where I live right now. I think it's Rio de Janeiro, and
Oh,
this
that's amazing.
mountain out there is the what's the name the mountain? We call the Forte de Duque de Caxias. I don't know how I say in English. A
Wow.
forte is a place there in nowadays, and the people usually to stay to protect their beads.
Mm-hmm.
So when the navy stay at some place and they need to protect this beach, we call in Portuguese it's a fort. It's a
Yeah,
safe place. In English, it's fort.
in English it's a fort, or like yeah, in some ways we could refer to like a military area, like a military base or a military blocked off area, but you could say it's like a
Understand.
fort or like
Oh.
um,
This is
yeah.
not exactly all a military area, but just this mountain is a military
Yeah.
area. And I live there. The place is called Leme at Rio de Janeiro. Is
Mm-hmm.
that beach the not in the front of view, but close to the mountain. And it's true. It's not just a stereotype. There are a lot of beautiful beaches. Rio de Janeiro, there is a lot, but there's another beach that's not so much famous, just like Rio de Janeiro. So in the states of Rio de Janeiro, there is another beach like Ilha Grande or Arraial do Cabo. There are two cities in the state of Rio
Mm-hmm.
de Janeiro, but not in the city of Rio de Janeiro. They are amazing beats. I could write this for you if you like beats. So you
Thank
you
you.
will like
Everyone.
to see this on the Google because it's very beautiful. Ilha Grande is a place that I go always that I have the opportunity. I go there because it's so beautiful. It's very nice.
How far away do you live from the beach? Like how long does it take you to get to the beach?
Two squads.
Sorry,
Uh,
two?
2 squares. In 5 minutes,
Oh,
I
two
go out of my
squares.
apartment
Okay,
and
so it's quite
squares,
close.
huh? Squares.
We would say blocks. So
Well,
if you're talking about a walking distance, we would say blocks. So it's
blocks.
like a certain amount of distance. I believe that's what you're saying. Could you walk there in a couple minutes?
Yeah, of course. In 2 minutes,
Yeah.
I am at the beach. It's
Yeah,
a
then you
beautiful
would
place.
say
I like a
blocks.
lot.
Yeah, you would say blocks, not squares. But also something that I wanted to say was this picture is absolutely beautiful, and it very much reminds me of my home, which is Cape Town in South Africa. But
So
this is
after
such a
there's a lot of
beautiful
beach too. Yeah, I'm surfing. I practice surf, so I
Oh,
ever know
cool.
the Cape Town and the other cities
Mhm.
in the South Africa cause when you surf you saw some the WSL this the championship the surf
Yes.
championship the world surf championship in there is a beach in South Africa. I don't remember now the name, but it's I think it's one of the best beaches to surf, and I
Jeffrey's Bay.
usually see what's the name.
Jeffrey's Bay.
Jeffers Bay, yeah, exactly. This one.
Yeah, South Africa is known for its surfers and its surfing. So that's really cool that you've heard of it. Wow. That's very
Thanks.
interesting. I feel
Thanks.
so like happy. Also, do you mind if I correct something I heard you say? So do
No,
you
no
mind saying
problem.
saying the word of those things behind the ocean, the natural, like I just want to hear you pronounce it just one more time to make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly. So you spoke
Yep.
of like the I don't want to say the word because I don't want to tell you how to pronounce it, but the rocks, the natural thing that you can climb, you can hike it.
Yeah,
It's with an M.
the
Do you mind
mountain.
saying that word? Yes. Okay, so I just wanted to hear you pronounce it. So what I'm hearing when you pronounce the word mountain is mountain. I'm hearing that O sound
It's
as
more
like a
open, just
top.
like mountain.
Yes. So because there is an O and a U in the word, that actually creates an ow sound. Like ow, like you know when you get hurt.
Now, because in
Yeah.
Portuguese, O is mon, whoa.
Oh, I see. Okay, so now I'm understanding where that pronunciation comes from because it's actually mountain. We want our like jaw to open a little bit and we want the sound to come from the back of our throat. So mountain. So I just wanted to
Mountain.
correct it. Yeah, there
Nice,
you go.
thanks. Mountain.
That's a bit better. Yeah, mountain. Just because
It,
it
it
sounds.
makes sense. I remember now a football player.
Mhm.
They call it Mason Mounts. And when I saw in when I already speak about his name, we speak Mason Mount, and this makes sense. Mountain. It's not
Yes.
Mason Mount. It's Mason Mount.
Yes.
It's the same
That's one.
pronunciation.
That's amazing. So now at least you have something to compare it to. But just for time's sake, let's move on to the next example. Oh, Brazilians are friendly. So this is something that I can personally say I believe because every single one of my Brazilian students or my Brazilian friends, so my friends that come from Brazil, every single one of them seems so bubbly and happy. They just want to like talk to you all the time. They want you to like be friends with them. So is this true in your opinion? Because obviously you live
Wow.
there.
In my opinion, it's true. Of course, in every country you have people that are not friendly, but we should make a comparison between this country or this country. Brazil are friendly people in general, and in Brazil we have a competition about uh, which people states is more friendly, and there is,
Really?
for example, if you are from Minas Gerais is the most famous people in Brazil that are famous because they are very friendly. And there's another states that are less friendly. Rio, for example, is not that they are not friendly, but in comparison, the people from Minas Gerais are more friendly than the people from Rio. And there's this competition, which people are more friendly, they are
Yeah.
more educated, and they like more to talk and these things.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. That is so cute that there's a competition between the different
Yeah.
states. I love that so much. That makes my heart so happy. It makes me really feel like, oh, that's so cute. I love that so much.
It
Um,
really
we have
exists.
a Yeah, we have a pretty similar experience in Cape Town where we would also say like a lot of South Africans are friendly, but it's only specifically like where you go. So only like specific areas might have like very friendly
Mhm.
people. But as a whole, I would say we're a pretty welcoming nation. But it's really cool to hear that that stereotype is true. That makes my heart very happy.
Nice.
Um, all Brazilians are good at soccer. This is the next stereotype. I know for a fact that this isn't true. Obviously, you can't have everyone be good at one thing at the same time. I don't think that this is true. Also, I've spoken about this to a couple of students in the past, and they've mentioned that even though they watch soccer or they might be interested in soccer, they can't play soccer at all. So I know that this isn't a true stereotype, but I know that Brazil is obviously famous for its soccer teams. Um, whether it's like a local soccer team like a St. Paulo team or if it's like the main Brazilian teams. Because I'm aware that soccer has two different kinds of, I think it's leagues. I'm not a soccer fan, so you can correct me if you know anything
No
about
problem.
that. But yeah, that's just my opinion on this. But you can let me know if that's actually true or not.
All Brazilians is it's a general way generalization about this. But in a mean, if we take a media, I don't know exactly. If you correct me, please. Okay,
Like an average or a
average. It's the average is
yes.
the correct word. I think we are good at soccer if we compare the
Yes.
average Brazilian with the average uh, American guy playing soccer. We are better, of course. This,
Okay.
but I think it's normal because soccer or football. There's this debate whether how you call this. Um, and it's very popular in Brazil. So I think that the sports, they are culture representation. So if we
Mm,
compare average Brazilian playing basketball, the Americans are very better than us because
yeah.
basketball is more common, it's more popular there than this are here. So football is very popular, so many Brazilians play this, and of course, there will be a lot of good Brazilian players, and the average Brazilian are good too. I think it's so. It's a good. It's okay. This you have this stereotype, but I think this is more because the cultural representation about football or soccer here than
Mhm.
the so natural ability that we have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like if we even take South African people, for example, and Brazilian people, our South African team is not known to be very, very good at soccer. Any of our South African teams were not known to make it very far in things like the World Cup. We hosted the World Cup in 2010.
But the South Africa team, it was very sympathetic. I remember then the World Cup, everybody was how I say, when we want that when I follow this team, and I want that they win. People,
Mhm.
although in Brazil we like the South Africa team, and we how is the word? I don't remember. How is the
That's
word when torcer, when oh, you like this team, so you go to the stadium and you
You're a supporter. You cheer.
support. Yeah,
You
in
support.
Brazil,
Yeah.
the people are supporting the South Africa team. They like it. They like the atmosphere on the stadium. So when we know that the team was not the favorites, and when take this and the sympathetic atmosphere. So I think it's normal that people have some sympathy about this team, and we are
Yeah.
supporting the South Africa team because of this. When it was in the World Cup, I remember that in my mind because it's
That's so
everybody.
funny
Oh,
to
South
remember it.
Africa, they are supporting because they know that it's not the better, but they like it.
Yeah, I remember. So I'm so glad you remember some information about the 2010 World Cup, because for me that was obviously my favorite World Cup, just because that was the first time we've ever hosted it. And
Mhm.
it was such a cultural event here because everyone was celebrating together. It brought people from all over our country just celebrating, being happy, sharing
It's
hugs with
very
people
nice.
that they've never met. It was
and
amazing.
and, and the best open music about World Cup was in the South Africa, the Shakira
Yes,
song.
Waka
Uh,
Waka.
until today, it's song it's played in Brazil. In the last World Cup, there was they made this marketing about the World Cup, and they didn't use the actual song. They used the song of South Africa. They make some dance and this thing. It's so it was a point in cultural ways.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's something that stood out to me as well. But what I was saying about, if you take like a South African, an average South African, even though some South Africans are really, really good at soccer, I would say that the majority of Brazilians would probably beat South Africans, just because, yeah, Brazil is just known for its soccer. So I do agree with you on that aspect. Like if we were to compare Brazil to another country, Brazil would probably win, because
What
Brazil
is
is like
the most popular sport in South Africa?
rugby. So it's
Rugby.
kind of,
Yeah.
do you know what rugby is? Yeah, it's kind of
I've
like
been listening
football.
about, but I didn't remember when you saw. I remember. South Africa is
Yeah,
good in rugby.
we're famous for our rugby and our cricket. So
Cricket,
the
good.
game, yeah, the game with the bat and the ball and
I
the
know them.
wickets. Yeah, we're famous for
Very
that.
nice.
And Brazil is obviously known for its soccer, but is it known for any other sport?
I think there are some it's sports that are very popular here because now you
Hmm.
have three or four top athletes that are in the WSLs. And
Mhm.
I think volleyball is very popular. Volleyball and basketball, swimming. But if we should take three sports, for example, I should say soccer, volleyball, and maybe now surf and basketball.
Yeah, the surfing would make sense, and so does the swimming, because every time there's an Olympic Games or the Olympics comes on TV, my mom and I always support the Brazilian team
Oh,
because
nice.
we always find that they swim really, really well. So if we're not supporting something like South Africa, we're supporting the Brazilian team. Um, so yeah, that's really cool, and that's something that I personally love because I was a swimmer when I was younger and when I was in high school. So
Very-
that's my kind of sport. Like I'd rather watch the swimming than the
I
soccer.
like swimming too. I not Bratzy. It's um how I say, to make competitions, but it's something
Yeah.
that I like to do to make make keep my body in the. It's okay to make some exercise. Swim is one of that I like it. I actually swim once or twice a week too. I like it so much.
That's amazing. And obviously your experience with surfing means that you have to swim so you can keep fit
It's a
and you can
how.
enjoy it. Yeah, it helps with the surfing. Do you mind if I correct you on one thing?
Of
It's
course,
actually not bad at
please,
all.
please.
The
I appreciate it.
the word athletes is pronounced like this. It's kind of like an ath, and instead of that, the letters let, which would usually create the sound let or the word let. It's not athletes or anything like that or
Athletes,
athletes. It's athletes. So your tongue kind of wants to like go flat, like leets, and
athletes,
the corner of your mouth like makes a smile. So leet.
athletes.
There we go.
No, athletes. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful. Let's see if there's one more stereotype that we can go through.
let's.
We uh Ooh, okay, this is a good one. This is an interesting one. Everyone in Brazil goes to the gym and has a beautiful beach body. Okay.
Well, I don't
So,
know exactly.
I you sorry? What did you say?
I don't know exactly. I have some perspective that Brazil uh, in the last 10 or 20 years we have grown this market about gyms and
Mhm,
natural life and fit lives. And of course, there is the people here. They care out about these bars. I don't know exactly if we could say this because usually we could make a comparison, and we usually make a comparison about another people, and I don't know very well how the other people they how they do it with these things if they are so healthy and go to the gym, but
mhm,
in if I saw just in this bubble that I saw is in my horizons in my view, I think it's okay to say that because there's a lot of people here that really care about the body. They gyms are all with a lot of peoples, and I take care. I work out. I go to the gym practically every day, but um, this I think it could be a correct stereotype.
I would also, just
How we
from
did
my
in South Africa, so I could make a comparison.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. So I'll definitely compare the two, but from what I've experienced with my students, the majority of my students always tell me that they go to gym or have experience with a sport or that they're physically active during their week. So that's just from me personally and with my experience with Brazilian people. They always try to go to the gym. Like I have a few students who go to the gym straight after our class or come from the gym to our class. So they're usually doing something involving gym
Actually,
when
I go
we're
to the
talking.
gym when we finish this class.
That's so cool. See, there we go. So maybe the stereotype is true. But in South Africa, gyms are also very common. You're going to find a gym everywhere you go. A lot of people have this drive to improve in gym, to get stronger, to be healthier. We also have a culture here, it depends on where you are in South Africa, I suppose, but of people wanting to be healthy or living a healthier lifestyle. But again, it just depends on where you are. That's not the same for every area or every person, obviously. But the majority of people I know, especially a lot of young people,
No.
especially who enjoy sports and want to grow in their sporting abilities, they'll go to gym, especially because we have a lot of sports in South Africa. For example, our swimming is really good. Our rugby is a
And
very,
the people
very
that
complete.
play rugby really need to make a lot of
They
gym.
they go to the
It
gym a lot.
demand too much strength. In
Yeah,
Brazil, I think
especially
it's not something specific for people who play something or something
yeah.
sports. I think it's more about health and
Hmm.
body care. Because
Yeah.
if you speak with someone that they don't do some exercise, so gym, probably the people will say for you that I should go to the gym. It's something like uh, if your people don't do, usually they think that they should do. It's not
Hmm.
something. I think, in my opinion, my vision, that there's not too much people. They just don't do anything, and it's okay for him do anything. When
Yeah.
people don't work out, they think, oh, I should make some exercise. Just think about health too, not for for as statics. Statics. I don't know. I think statics idea. It's something. Maybe it's just my point of view. Now, I don't know exactly if I could make some generalization about that.
No, I like that and I appreciate that input. But I would say it's the same in South Africa. People are also quite like that. Like, if you haven't gone to the gym in a while or you haven't done much exercise, the majority of people are going to come back and be like, oh, I haven't been to gym in like a month. Maybe I should start going back. Like, this is getting pretty long now. But yeah, what I was saying about the sport is that a lot of people, especially in South Africa, want to be professional soccer players or rugby players, and they want to make it into overseas clubs because there's more opportunity and the pay is better. So
Hmm.
they have to work really hard and make sure that they keep a good level of fitness so that they can go and play in clubs and compete with people internationally, not just in South Africa. So
Right.